All right, we'll call this meeting to order of the City of Angola Board of Zoning Appeals, July 28th, 2025. Welcome you all. Everybody signed in out there once we got a piece of paper to sign in on.
Sorry.
This meeting is being recorded. Just to let you know, could we have the staff roll call?
Yes, Chris Thomas.
Here.
Bill Rowe.
Here.
David Rowe.
Here.
Jeffrey Martin is absent. Susan Ralston.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Has everybody had an opportunity to review our meetings, our minutes from the last meeting of April 28th, 2025? Any additions, deletions? Do I have a motion to approve? Second? Those in favor? Those same? All right. Okay. Do we have any old business?
No old business, sir.
All righty, let's just move to new business. Way we do this is we'll have a staff report, and then the petitioner comes up to the microphone and presents their case, and then we'll open up to public if they want to, somebody wants to speak. Then we'll close the public portion of it, and then it goes back to the board for discussion and a vote. So let's start off with BZA 07001 development standard variance report, please.
Okay. Owner is Angola United Methodist Church. Applicant is Jay Stevens, representing the Angola Methodist Church. And I have the report up here on the screen for view as well. Location is 220 West Maumee Street. They're asking a variance from section 18.160.180 fence standards for location. The zoning district is downtown commercial. Applicable code is Title 18 Indiana Code Board of Zoning Appeals 3674 series. Hearing date is today. There were 36 property owners that were sent notice within 300 feet, and the legal notice appeared in the Herald Republican on July 18th. This is not within a floodplain. Angola United Methodist Church is soon to become the host home of the Vine Early Learning Center. They're requesting a development standards variance for their proposed fence location. To meet state licensing and for the safety of the children, the child care center must have a fenced-in play area. So you can see on the screen or on your reports that up here is where, and I know it's probably on your report is a little bit better with the red dotted lines. They don't have a lot of green space to fence in, so they are fencing in just this area and this grassy area here. And clearly you guys know that when you're on a corner, you have two front yards and there's no fencing permitted in front yard. The development standard variant section 18.160.180 fence standard B location front yards, fences and walls shall not be permitted in the front yard. So hence the request of a 5-foot chain link fence in the front yard. And I've got some site photos here. I didn't document the location because we're all kind of looking the same way. So we are looking south really on all of these from the Methodist Church. So this is the back end, and we can kind of talk to Jay. I don't know if that's where the children will enter or what exactly, but these are site photos from street level on all of these. And then this is kind of, the church has the parking lot just on the east side there. So that's looking southwest, I guess, from that direction. And then also standing in the parking lot looking here. So this is that grassy area that they are hoping to fence in. Contextual zoning. To the north is institutional, which is Angola Public Safety Building. To the east is downtown commercial. To the south is downtown commercial. And to the west is neighborhood commercial. So all around there in that downtown historic district. No public input has been received. In conclusion, staff recommends approval for the requested variance. The children do need a safe environment to be outside, and the proposed areas for fencing are the only green space areas on the property. So that was a real simple report, and then I have the findings of fact. So when this was initially presented, again, the Vine is relocating to the Methodist Church, they have already kind of pushed back the fence. So if you look at the little drawing where the red dotted lines are, and you guys might have some questions on this for them as well, but they have pulled that back to allow for line of sight on some of that. But again, I think it's still a 5 foot, and Jay can answer that and then answer your other questions, but that's all I have.
Thank you. Hey, Jay, want to go to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Jay Stevens, address is 865E 20N, Angola. Retha pretty well hit the high points. I can answer a couple of those questions she brought up. If you look at the site plan that I presented there, it's a little difficult to read, obviously, on this side. But we're about 6 feet from the sidewalk, and that is based on a utility right-of-way along there. And that probably gets us easily a foot outside of what appears to be the utility right-of-way. Obviously, I will verify that before we build any fence. We would get the utility to flag their actual right-of-way.
Did you just say 6 feet from the?
I believe that's what I have here. Now, maybe it's 4 foot.
From West or Gilmore?
West.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 6 foot and a couple inches is what I've drawn, and I think it's 4 foot on Gilmore.
Okay.
From the sidewalk. Those can be somewhat flexible. Again, you can't really see it here, but there's a requirement of 50 square feet per child of outdoor space. And the reason we're creating 3 is because they aren't allowed to mix classes. In other words, if you have a class of 8 or 10 kids, you can't combine 2 of those classes in a outside play area. They have to have individual ones, and they're going to be utilizing 8 rooms in the educational wing there for classrooms. A little bit about the Vine, perhaps. They're one of the few that take infants, so they take children from 6 months to 6 years of age, and they also have some after-school care for, I think, for some kids that actually ride a bus to their facility now. They currently are located at Sunlight Community Church and have been asked to move out by the end of this year because Sunlight needs the space that they're using, and they're only using 4 rooms out there. We found out about the opportunity, which we consider it an opportunity for our church to provide this. We have that rather nice educational wing that was built when I was a little kid. Phil was a much littler kid, and 1967, and that was the boomer generation, a lot of kids in church, and it's grossly underutilized now. And it's a natural fit for this because it is probably a step above most child care buildings in this, because it's all masonry, concrete floors, bar joists. It's, good fire resistance. We are going to be adding a sprinkler system, which is a requirement. If you have children under 2.5 or 2.5 and down, you have to have a sprinkled building, or you have to have an egress from every room that those young kids are in directly to the outdoors, which is not possible in our building because first floor is about 4 feet above grade. But so the church is going to invest about $175,000 to make this happen. So I guess that's the main story. That I'm glad to entertain any questions you have.
Chris, you good? Susan?
Just an observation, definitely needed in this area.
Absolutely.
To see it continue, so.
Yeah, I was stuck on that too.
Yeah, that was.
We definitely need to take care of this area badly.
They actually had been looking for, since last fall, for an alternative, and had basically voted in early March to close it because they were out of ideas. And Danielle Conklin, who was planning on coming tonight, but knew she was going to be late, is the president of their board, and she's also our bell choir director at the church. And she came to the meeting on a Tuesday night and they had just voted to close it. And that's the first I had heard about it. And I said to Neil, we have this, we have to do this.
So what type of fencing are you going to use?
We've got a quote for, it's basically a vinyl coated chain link.
Oh, okay.
At one point, we were thinking we wanted a privacy fence, but in additional conversations with the staff and the director, and with my encouragement, I felt like it's a more pleasant environment for the children if they don't have an enclosed fence. They get breeze and, more visual look, and it's less obtrusive to the neighbors as well. So.
Is it still 5 foot, Jay?
Yeah, still 5 feet.
One other comment, again, the fencing is necessary because being right across from a public safety building as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You have no choice. You have to have, there are buku regulations when you get into a child care center, and they are licensed with the state, so they are eligible for state vouchers to help families who are financially challenged to afford the child care. I don't know if what the current legislature has done to that program or not, but so they have pretty strict licensing standards. I've spent the last 3 months immersing myself in state code. I've been an engineer for 40 years. I've never done a child care building like this. And so I've had to learn a lot of stuff. And I even hired an outside consultant to be sure I wasn't missing any of the details, because we have to submit to the state and get approval for the changes we're making to the building. And then state fire marshal will visit us, and then their licensing people will visit as well and approve. And we've actually had licensing people in there to walk through the building with us and make suggestions. So we've done our due diligence as far as trying to make this happen.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Jay. Do we have anybody else that would like to speak publicly? So we can go to the findings.
Any other questions for me, board, for your discussion? Okay. So the findings of fact, the approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community, as the fence location allows plenty of space for line of sight at the intersections. Agree or disagree? Thank you. Sorry, I forgot to ask. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, as the approval does not change the use of the property. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property, as state licensing requires a fenced-in play area for all child care facilities. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay, all findings are in agreement.
All right, do I have a motion for case number 2025 BZA 07001?
A motion to approve. And I'll second it.
All those in favor, answer by aye.
Aye.
It's the same.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Jay.
It's approved, and I will, we can be in touch to do, I think you've submitted what you need to obtain your fence permit, but I'll send your FDL tomorrow and touch base with you.
Obviously, I have to do a local permit to build that fence as well.
Yes.
I'll get with Scotty.
That goes through my office,
Goes
but
through
yep,
the office now.
yeah, so I'll get that. Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
Just so you know, we're not actually proceeding with anything until I get the design release from the state.
Okay, and we can wait on the fence permit as well.
Yes, there's no rush on
Okay.
that. We would like to move them in, well, definitely before the end of the year. late October, November probably is
Okay.
going to be the most realistic. And that might even be difficult. It's taken a little longer to get to this point than we hoped. But, because we have quite a lot of things to do, but
Okay.
I'm a little nervous about the state.
Yeah.
Of course, the old church building was built in 1890, and it's, we have to separate it. It's almost impossible to sprinkle that part of the building, so we have to do firewalls, and we have to get a variance from state fire marshal for our design of the firewall, because it doesn't technically meet all the requirements. But my consultant has done this a lot, and he's confident that it'll work, but I'm a little nervous, so we're not going to be doing anything for probably several weeks at least before I let any contract.
Well, and stay in touch with Scott. If there's anything, we can help you at least navigate that process. We'll do that. All right.
The fellow I'm consulting with was the state fire marshal in the 90s, so he probably knows as much about it as anybody.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for your time.
All righty, item number 2, 2025 BZA 07003, development standard variance.
Yes.
Staff report, please.
So the application type is development standard variance. As you said, owner is Pigeon Lake Holdings LLC, Shane and Beth Groves. The applicant is the same. Location is 520 South, 100 East, and they are located in the extraterritorial jurisdiction. The request is for materials used in the driveway standards. Current zoning is C1 pending the rezone. So they have, and I might have explained that there, they have been to Plan Commission at last month to request a rezone to commercial, which the front lot is already commercial. So they were just asking to rezone that second lot the same, and they will combine those parcels. So that is pending the final readings. Applicable zone, Title 18, Unified Development Ordinance, Board of Zoning Appeals 3674 series. Today is the hearing date, July 28th. Legal notice in the Herald Republican on July 18th with 6 property owners within 300 feet of the project sent notice. This is not within a floodplain. Shane and Beth Groves, Pigeon Lake Holdings LLC, are the owners of 101 Lakes Liquidation, which sits on the south lot adjacent to this. They're looking to expand their store and add essential warehouse space. Part of their expansion plan includes receiving dock, requiring a large driveway and turnaround space to allow for semis to safely maneuver. The applicant is requesting a development standards variance to allow porous gravel material. They are concerned that adding more hard surface will increase the existing drainage issues in the surrounding properties. This is section 18-160-120. Sorry, I'm not very good at maneuvering both of these. And this might actually look a little different, and our petitioner may address that. They had talked about maybe shortening this up a little bit, and I don't know if that's still the plan, so.
Shortening up which part, the drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't need all that at the end there, that tail.
Okay. The driveway standard. So this is not, just keep in mind, this is not parking lot. They are going to utilize their existing parking lot. So vehicles will not be parked here. This is literally just for drop off deliveries. Driveway standards, materials, driveways shall consist of asphalt, concrete, or other non-porous material approved by the zoning administrator. So they are requesting to install the driveway composed of gravel. And again, we can let her speak to this. It just may look a little bit different, but this, you will see there is an existing drive approach here already there. And this shows there's a garage that will be coming down. So the proposed building, which they will be at Plan Commission in September for their development plan approval on that building. But this is just that drive approach coming here, dropping off, turning around and leaving. So that is the plan. The site photos. So this is looking southeast. On your first page there, you'll see the existing building, which was the G.I. Jody's previously. That garage that eventually will be raised as well. And then there's a view looking northeast, showing their existing parking lot that they will still use for this building. And then looking beyond, the contextual zoning and land use property is currently pending a rezone. The third and final reading will be on Monday, August 18th, 2025 at the Common Council meeting. Upon approval, the property will be zoned C1 small to medium commercial district to match the front lot already zoned C1. Surrounding land uses include to the north agricultural, to the east residential, to the south is their commercial with the 101 Lakes liquidation, and then to the west is residential. There was no public input received as of today's date from the application. Staff conclusion and recommendation. We are excited about the growth of 101 Lakes liquidation. The staff is in favor of the requested variance for the use of gravel as a driveway material. The property is within the extraterritorial jurisdiction, and the surrounding properties have historically had drainage issues. We believe the allowance of a gravel driveway will help reduce the potential for a negative impact. Steuben County Highway Department will need to approve the proposed driveway approach width still, and they will meet with them and get that approval as well. And that is all I have.
Questions for Rita? All right, Beth?
Anything?
I don't have any, do you need me to go through anything?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll just need to kind of present why you're doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just state your name and address first, sorry.
Beth Groves, 418 South, 200 East, Angola. So we were concerned about adding any hard surface. There's some crop ground to the north of us that already has some standing water issues. And we really felt up, and of course to the northwest also, there's some low ground that holds water. So we felt like if there was hard surface put there, it would just create more runoff, further complicating that, those waters, the areas that hold water now. So our plan is to use the crushed asphalt like we have in the front to make it uniform through the back. So it will look like asphalt, but it's actually crushed asphalt and it will remain porous.
Do you have any questions?
Beth, do you know if your surveyor architect, if they've talked to the county yet?
I have been in contact with the state.
Okay.
But I have not talked to the county yet.
Okay.
All right.
And I can pull this up on Beacon as well, just to get a good visual if you guys want to here. So this is, as you can kind of see, and again, Plan Commission still will need to approve the development plan. They will connect the buildings through a walkway here, so part of it will be here on this. So once everything is taken care of and they combine the lots, this drive approach will still be used. It'll just be a little bit wider. And Beth, can you speak really quick though on what we had? I think that there wasn't updated and I didn't have it yet. So what shows on this is not totally accurate. You guys aren't coming this far.
We're not gonna come out. There will not be a loading dock.
Oh, okay.
There's not gonna be an actual loading dock. We're just gonna unload them with fork trucks. So we're only expecting about 2 truckloads a week. So there's not gonna be a lot of traffic through there.
2 truckloads a week?
Yeah, that's our anticipation. About 2 semis a week is all we're going to see.
Okay.
But we've shortened that tail. We just don't need all that turnaround space. So we've shortened that tail down to come back to the south a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far back?
I think it was about 20 foot is what they had. Let me see if my drawing.
That you've taken off 20 foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not to scale, so I can't tell. I do have a copy of it with the shortened tail.
I'll just need that scanned in. So
Okay.
we can,
Okay.
if you want to pass it around, you
Yeah,
can
absolutely.
display that, if that. And again, this hearing is really just about the materials, how you feel about the gravel use versus the asphalt, but we can at least look and, oh yeah, that's a lot different, okay. And I think we, as a board, when the development was done on that west side there, they had come to look at, they subdivided when Holman's had their auction, and the drainage issues had come up then. I can't remember if this board had to hear about it. There were some things that we might had to look at, but the Plan Commission did for sure. So there was lots of discussion on the drainage and some concerns in that area, hence why we as a staff said, you know, that really just makes more sense versus the hard surface, but clearly up to you guys on how you feel about it.
Anything else for Beth? No. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll open it up to the public. State your name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Brad Hickman. Current address is 208 Clyde Avenue. I'm also a property owner to the northwest of this proposed area. My biggest purpose, I think, for being here was to better understand process flow, traffic impact, just general flow of traffic in the area, because with school starting, that does become very constrained. Just kind of get a better understanding of what's being proposed.
Brad, do you mind telling us which property is yours? I'm sorry.
Right across, it doesn't really have an address. It's right above your pointer.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
0.55 acre.
Okay.
So just kind of wondering how the semis are going to flow in and out. Biggest concern, obviously, is with the traffic that
Right.
school starting, school getting out.
You say you'll have two per week?
Yeah, 2 trucks a week, 2 semis a week.
Are they going to come like north-south, drive
Yeah.
in and just straight? Or are they going to back around quite a bit?
They're going to pull straight in where the existing drive is now. It will be widened. They'll pull in there, unload, back out, and pull right back out onto 20.
Beth, would you mind showing him the shorter, I'm sorry? Just so he has a good view of what is looking at.
They're not, currently, when our trucks unload, they're pulled to the side, and you've probably seen them, they're pulled to the side of 100, because there is no place to pull them in. So they're parking along the road and we're unloading them there, which in my opinion creates far more of a distraction than this. So they'll pull in here, unload here, back out, and pull back out.
Okay, so they're not going to be backing out onto the road itself? They're
No,
just gonna drive
no,
straight
that's why
out.
we put this tail here, so they're not backing onto the road.
Okay, now is there going to be like a barrier to keep the gravel from getting out onto the road?
There's probably 10 or 15 foot. So I don't think that grassy area is going to remain.
Okay, just curious on that.
Yeah, and
Just-
this isn't parking, this isn't customer parking.
Yeah.
It is just for the
Business.
purpose of those trucks unloading.
The reason I asked that was just with the amount of accidents at that intersection, if someone had to hit the brakes, if they were going to slide, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This area here will remain untouched and it's all grassy area.
Okay. If you don't need it.
No, go ahead.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Hickman, were you concerned more about the semi-traffic or increased customer traffic? I would just want to make sure I understand what your concern
Really, I
was.
think it's an overall, the big picture. If, obviously it's good that we have growth to business, and this is going to help support that. With that, my trade is basically process engineer. We look at flow. We want to make sure things aren't constrained. We want to make sure that there's no negative impacts. So just kind of observing that location for the past 12 years, I've seen once school starts, it's pretty bad. In the morning, there's a lot of traffic. It's backed up quite a ways. In the afternoon, when school lets out, it's also very backed up. The Angola Police Department have to be out there quite often. There's been some concerns with cars driving through neighbors' yards. Just really wanting to make sure that there's a good, and it sounds like they've addressed that, a good flow. Somebody doesn't have to back out into traffic or have to obstruct traffic at all. It sounds like this will help alleviate that, give them a solution.
And Beth, I don't know if this is feasible, but you bring up a very good point that I hadn't thought about, is how congested it does get during school. Is there a way to just ensure your deliveries are after that time frame?
We don't even open until 10 a.m. So there won't be any deliveries before 10 a.m. We do not accept deliveries. So our deliveries are generally 10 to 2 because we need time to process them. You know, so now that's not saying
With
that
resources.
trucks always abide by, you know, sometimes they show up at 3 or 4 or 5, but rarely.
I think that makes sense. You have to have resources to unload the truck to
Yeah.
support that,
Yeah.
the process flow. The other thing, you know, as far as the water goes, it's really, really shallow water table. So, I mean, I think that is good. I've got water at 4 feet. It's constant hydraulic heaving throughout the year. So I can't really build anything out there, at least I'm not willing to with that. So I think it's good to be proactive on that.
Yeah.
So appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime.
And the variance, we don't technically, clearly read on this, we don't allow gravel driveways, but without storm water or storm drains in that area, and when it's in the ETJ, we're a little bit more lenient on that, sometimes when it makes sense. And this, we just felt made sense in that area.
Now then, I guess the other thing is future state. Does the commission have a plan for future state or a vision? Let's say that you wanted to sell or you want to develop further. How would this integrate with a future state plan? Is there a plan? Is there something that we want to have?
The future state plan, like a comprehensive plan that, or,
Kind of like a development plan. If we want to keep that commercial, what does the future state commercial look like in that area?
so, you will see, you probably got a notice for the rezone
Yeah.
as well, and I think you said you were.
Yeah, I was gonna head on to it. I couldn't go.
So in that notice, and I can show you what's technically allowed in C1 as well, but with a building being there, it's rare that, you know, something else might go, but you will also receive a notice for a development plan approval. And that's when we'll look at the elevations, the building itself, what that looks like on the property, how that fits into that area, and our plan commission will hear that in September. But you will get that notice in the mail
Okay.
for
Very curious
that
on
as
that.
well.
Just looking at town and how town has developed in the last 20 years, it seems like there's a lot of opportunity to go east. And I know that Holman subdivided their farm and that recently went to residential. So it's kind of wondering how that's all going to play out. If we have a plan.
So strategically, we don't have a plan to annex or move anything out that direction in the near future that I can speak to at all. But yeah, I mean, we value any growth that makes sense, smart growth, we want it. So we're excited, you know, to have anything, but there's not anything strategically planned to move out to your area anytime soon that I can tell you or that I know of.
All right. I think that's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
thank you so much.
All right, let's close the public portion and I guess we can go through the, anybody have any further questions before we read the findings? No?
Sorry, let me get to them here. Again, this is for case 2025 BZA 7003, driveway standard material. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. General welfare of the community. Will not. The approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community as the property is inside the extraterritorial jurisdiction. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Will not is your answer. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner as the gravel material will allow for better stormwater drainage. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulty in the use of the property.
Will.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property as the added impervious area required by our standards could have a negative effect on stormwater drainage. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Alrighty. Do I have a motion for case 2025 BZA 07003? Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, the same?
So just another step closer to your development plan. We get to see you so much. But I'll be in touch with the final determination letter. The FDL will come, and then and we can discuss what will need to go to county and what that looks like as well. But thank you very much.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Do we have anything else?
I do not have a report. I don't know if our attorney does or
No
not.
report. We have something on the docket for next month.
I do believe so. Today was actually the deadline for the August meeting, which is August 4th. No, sorry, it's not on here. But I didn't receive anything officially today, but I do know that there are a couple potential applications. So today is a deadline. As long as I can get them by tomorrow or so, I will let you know if we ended up not receiving anything or if they're not ready at this time. I'll keep you posted on that. But if I know things are coming, I try to hit them in different meetings so we don't have one meeting with 6 cases. That's always a lot. So I'll find out for sure and let you guys know.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I'll motion it.
All right. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Wonderful evening.
Yes.